Good morning, everyone. I'm Romney Smith at WTOC for the News Now. This is your digital update so we can keep you in the loop of everything local, regional, and national. Thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your day just to stay in the loop with everything. We're on various platforms right now, including our website, WTOC.com, the WTOC apps, Amazon Fire, Roku, Twitter, and Facebook. And Facebook is where you can interact with us directly. Say good morning, like there are so many of you already chiming in. Certainly appreciate you guys joining us. I see your comments here. And then, of course, if you have a question, ask that, and I will do my best to respond. So we're starting this morning because after 3 full days of testimony, a Chatham County grand jury says the officer-involved shooting death of Ricky Boyd was justified. Now, I have to give you guys a warning. The way we're going to do this is we're going to play a video clip, full sound, so you will hear multiple gunshots and you will hear screaming. Then we're going to play it again, slowed down, so I can walk you through exactly the moment where they decided it was a justified shooting. So again, for those of you who have kids around you, you might not want them to hear it. You might want to turn your volume down a little bit. But a warning, we are going to show the actual full video, and you will see him fall to the ground, and then we're going to show it slowed down. So let's roll the video now. All right, now this is a slowed down version. You see the officer approaching the home. Ricky Boyd is on the front porch. Parts of the video slow down and they highlight. So that's the light over to the right. You can kind of see his silhouette. The officer will walk again a little bit closer and everything will become more clear. At this point, we have officers and you see his hands in a shooting stance right there. This is where they're saying the BB gun was in his hands and he was pointing at officers and U.S. Marshals who were serving him a warrant for murder. At this point, because he's in this stance, the officers testified that they felt unsafe and they couldn't tell in the blink of an eye if that was a real gun or something else. But because it appeared like it, they fired shots. He just went down and collapsed onto the ground. Family members were in the area and they were screaming at the time. And as you know, his family has been very vocal, speaking out about exactly what they think happened. The body camera video that was shown to you just now, that is what jurors saw. That's what the grand jury made their decision off of, as well as expert testimony from both officers and marshals who were at the scene serving that warrant. So, Savannah Police Chief Mark Revenue postponed an early morning news conference. It's actually set to happen in about 10 minutes. WTOC has a reporter and photographer at the scene as they will finally be speaking out about the decision that happened with the grand jury saying the shooting death, the officer-involved shooting death, was warranted and justified in the case of Ricky Boyd. Also, the Boyd family attorney, Will Claiborne, he will also be hosting an 11 a.m. news conference. So both sides of this issue hosting news conferences today. First, the Savannah Police, then the Boyd family attorney. So we will be at both of those locations to get you direct reaction from the official police and from the family attorney to see what they have to say about this video. Certainly a lot of people at first were saying he did not have a gun. Clearly you saw in the video there was a gun. And not only that, he was aiming at what looked like a shooting stance. That is why people said it was a justified shooting. Again, Ricky Boyd's mother is also expected to speak and react at that news conference at 11 a.m. We are covering all of this. Again, if you want some background information, you can always go on our website, WTOC.com, for that. All right, sticking with other local news. This morning, one escaped inmate from South Carolina is still on the run. Curtis Green was one of the 3 men to escape from the jail Saturday. He's considered to be very dangerous, and he was in jail on a murder charge. At this point, officials say he could still be in South Carolina, or perhaps now he could be in another state, especially if he had assistance or access to a vehicle. The other 2 inmates have been recaptured. 3 men charged in connection with helping the inmates escape were denied bond yesterday. People are asking for the police, are asking for the public's help. If you have any information, you're asked to call them immediately. All right, I know you saw this next story on your Facebook yesterday. A lot of people talking about it. It's a hot button issue. I'm talking about kneeling during the national anthem with the NFL. So it's a very controversial topic throughout the entire NFL. We're used to seeing it. It happened all last season, including our Atlanta Falcons. So the new policy came out. Roger Goodell announced it yesterday after the NFL owners meeting that's been happening this week. The new policy gives players and team staff who choose not to stand for the anthem the option to stay in the locker room or another place off the field. But anyone on the field kneeling will be fined. Hundreds of you actually reached out and commented on the WTOC Facebook. We heard various opinions. Some of you agree, some of you disagree, some of you are very passionate, some of you say, I really don't care, I just want to watch the game. It doesn't matter to me. So various opinions there, but you know what? We chose a couple of comments to highlight today, and let's see what the first one is. So one we have from Jessica, and this is what she had to say. She says, I believe you should stand. That's what she means. But I also believe you have a right not to stand. That's what's America about, right? So again, that comment coming from Jessica on Facebook, and I believe we have actually, you know what? We have more comments. You can actually see them on our website, WTOC.com, and our Facebook page. But also keep in mind, the commissioner came out to announce the decision, and people are saying this has always been a part of the NFL. Keep in mind, yes, it's always been part of the NFL to play the anthem. However, in 2009, the military actually paid the NFL millions of dollars to make sure the players were on the field to hear it, because previously they were all in the locker room. So if you're thinking, you know, this wasn't the same about 10 years ago or 15, 20 years ago, you're right. It wasn't the same. Some players could just be warming up on the field and kind of ignore it. Other players would be in the locker room still. It wasn't mandated that they were on the field. So that changed in 2009, because then you started to see honor guards and military members and flyovers, things of that nature. That's because of the NFL and military contract. That was millions of dollars in order to get fans to be a little bit more patriotic if they chose to participate in that. So that's kind of a little bit of a background of where that came from. And also a lot of you on Facebook commenting that it was illegal. Keep in mind, it's technically not illegal. You can sit, you can stand, you can kneel, you can jog, you can do jumping jacks. Technically and legally, it doesn't matter what you're doing during the national anthem. Most of us think it's respectful just to stand at attention and be quiet and respectful. But not everyone feels that way, but it is the illegal American right not to do that. So for everyone saying it's illegal, technically, it's not illegal. You can actually do anything you want during the anthem. All right, I always tell you guys you can weigh in on Facebook with questions, with comments, and I know a lot of you watched that Ricky Boyd video that we showed earlier today, so I want you to see. I did see your comments, but I wanted to make sure I fully explained that video for you earlier, so now I'm going to get to the comments. I was hearing gunshots when he was on the ground. We don't see Ricky Boyd fall. You had to watch the whole video. We did show that, and it was highlighted. That's why we slowed it down for you after. Let's see. Nancy Redmond saying, I would hate for this to be my son, but when the police say hands up, do it. The grand jury made the correct decision. A lot of people agreeing with this because, you know, as you know earlier, we did not have access to the body camera video. So it was just the police saying we are still investigating, we are not commenting, and the family saying Ricky Boyd did not have a gun. And us, we're just left to think, well, we don't have any evidence or proof either way. Now we do. Now we see that he had something in his hands and that he was clearly in some kind of shooting position. I mean, I kind of think anyone with common sense knows you don't even point a water gun at an officer. It can be seen as a threat, especially if it's a real looking gun. After the investigation, we found out it was a BB gun that he had. Again, in a split second, they had to make a decision, and they chose to open fire on Ricky Boyd, and he died that day. All right, Ed Wilczak saying, what did Ricky Boyd think would happen? Suicide by cop? Unfortunately, he's dead, so we didn't know if that was a point that he was trying to make or not. Angie Bacon saying, yes, comply with what officers do. And I think a lot of your questions might be answered in this morning's newscast, this morning's news conference with Ricky Boyd's mother and family. Because remember, they gave written testimony as well. So I think these questions are going to come out. I can guarantee you the WTOC reporters covering it will be asking about it. Also, let's see, people are saying take classes to be a cop if you want to. Charity Merton saying, where's the video? I missed it. We might be able to replay it, but I think we might actually be dipping into a news conference that's actually happening. Actually, we have a live look for you right now. So, oh, you know what? We're having a little bit of technical issues. If we get another live look of what's happening with the Savannah Police Department, we'll give you that live look in a second. Okay, now some of you guys weighing in on the kneeling flag issue. Jamie Stilling saying, as a combat vet, I am offended by players and staff that don't stand. Completely understand where you're coming from, but let me give you an opposite view. Technically, the flag represents all of the U.S., not just the military. And so it is technically our choice if you choose to kneel or not, or stand or not, or sit or not, or go running, or do jumping jacks. So while you take offense and you fought for this country, and we certainly appreciate your service, some people say the original point of kneeling was to highlight and bring attention to racial disparities and racial injustice in this country. The original reason that Colin Kaepernick kneeled was not just to randomly disrespect the flag. He wanted to call attention to what he says is unfair. And then people respond back and they say, but this country was founded. You got to stop right there. This country was founded, and black men and women were not even considered people. Most of our early presidents had slaves. So go back to where the real reason why he decided to kneel, not stand. It wasn't because he just randomly felt like disrespecting the flag. He felt like it didn't represent him, and he felt like has never fully and accurately reflected all of America and what we say we stand for. So if you go back to the issue, you might feel a different way. Also, I would reach out to you to ask your friends, what do they feel like, you know? And then just Antonio Johnson saying you shouldn't be penalized to exercise your right. I'm with you there. It's legal. It's American as apple pie. You can do it or you don't have to do it. That's all it is. When it comes to me, I like the game. That's what I want to see. So I'm not offended by everything so easily, but I can certainly understand why people think it's disrespectful. But it's real talk though, guys. I really think people are talking about two different issues. Some people think it's all about the flag. Other people think it's about raising awareness for racial injustice and disparity. So a lot of times when you're having the clarification, make a point to actually define what you're talking about. Because are you talking about the flag or are you talking about highlighting racial injustice? A lot of times people are talking about two different things and then they start arguing and then it gets really annoying. So keep in mind, you can always weigh in on our Facebook page. You can always leave comments. It's a post that we're getting a lot of reaction from. Again, on both sides, on many sides, I should say. It's not just two, because you've got people who say, I'm offended, this is wrong, they should be fined. You've got people saying, I'm not offended, it's their American right. You've got people saying, I don't care, I just want to see the game. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Of course, we'll be back at 11 o'clock with a look at weather. That invest that they're watching will have an impact on our area. We have first alert weather days declared on Sunday and Monday. One of our meteorologists will break down exactly what that means as for you planning your weekend. All right, I'll see you later.